Okay, so good afternoon. Okay, so I will just share this video. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Folks, good afternoon. I'm sorry for the delay because I had experience actually technical difficulties in using the other tool for streaming. So right now I'm still using the previous tool that I am using actually for my live streaming. Okay. So good afternoon, folks. How was your day? Indeed, this is a very good day. And welcome back to my opinion matters. So this is a live educational discussions of the different issues that are very popular all over social media and in the newspaper and also all over the television and radio. And today is a very nice day, so we have to thank God for this wonderful day that He has given to us. And let us continue to pray for those people who are actually affected no, by COVID 19, and let us also increase our prayer that God will grant all our wishes and God will help us to eradicate the COVID 19 virus on the face of this earth. So, good afternoon for those who are tuned in. Good afternoon. I know that you are actually waiting for this. For some of you, they're actually waiting for this program. So, good afternoon. So, folks, let us start our discussion for today. This is a very good day for all of us. And last Saturday, it was a very fruitful discussion. And today, we will try to discuss another interesting topic because right now, as you can see, the online classes, no, the start or the reopening of online classes of the school this year 2020-21 will happen on October 5, no, for the public school. That's why last Saturday that was my topic, that education must go on despite of this pandemic. Okay, but for the private schools, I many private schools have already reopened their online classes, no, and until at this moment, actually, they are continuing ongoing their online classes. But for some of the private schools, they will open actually their online class on Monday. That will be August 24. That's why the topic for today is very relevant, no, for our students, for the parents, and also for the teachers. And this topic will focus on the what kind of support that we can give for our students, most especially during this time of the pandemic. So let's begin. All right. So now let us uh, first, no, let's put on this perspective, no, what do we mean by support? Okay, because our topic is about supporting the learners, no, this time of pandemic. So in a nutshell, what do we mean by support? Okay, so when we say support, it means that we give help and encouragement. So that is the basic meaning of support. So let in support, no, it is giving help and encouragement to a person, no, in order to continue and to inspire that person to continue moving forward his or her life. Of course, the very basic definition of support is to help, no? Actually, yeah, that's the very basic meaning. So when you support a person or a group of people, you are giving help, no? And when you help that person, you are actually uh, changing, no, the life or the lives of those people or the life of that person. So that is the importance of support. So in a nutshell, no, support is something that uh, we need to do, no, at this time of pandemic, no, because there are a lot of stresses, no, there's a lot of difficulties and problems that we are actually encountering nowadays. That is why support is very important, no? Kaya nga sabi ng ibang eksperto, this time of pandemic, we have uh, to create our support group, no? Wherein that support group will help us to cope, no? To cope with the problems and the stress that all the stress that we are actually experiencing at present. No, yan. That's the importance of support. Now, in the ASCD, no, when we say ASCD, this is actually the Association for Supervision on Curriculum and Development, no, because this organization in United States of America, actually it is an organization that is actually giving support, no? They are making different programs and support in order to increase the standards and the quality of education in America. And right now, actually, this ASCD, actually, it was founded on 1943. Okay, and in 2007, actually, they created and released a framework, and that framework is actually entitled the Whole Child Approach. No, and that whole child approach created five tenets. So you have the health, okay. So you have the safety, and then you have the the another the other tenet is the what we call challenge, no, and then engage, and then last is the supported or support. That's why for the ASCD, no, uh, they have a different meaning of support, no, their operational meaning of support, because that is actually the product of their research. Now, for them, support, it means each student has access to personalized learning and is supported by qualified, caring adults. So that is actually the meaning of support, no, okay, in the educational context, no, made by the ASCD, the Association for Supervision on Curricular Development. Okay, and that was actually in 2007. Right now, the ASCD, they have already 113 1,573 members all over the world, and actually there are 129, no, countries that are already a member of this ASCD. Okay, so the definition of support by the ASCD, this is actually very true, and it is very important for us to know, no, most especially for the teachers, no, the members of the school community. It is very important for us to know and to have internalization of the word support, no. And the question is, how do we support our students this time of pandemic? Okay, that is actually the question. But before that, okay, let us walk through, no, uh, on the different various possible concerns on academic and behavior of the students, pupils in the new normal. So this presentation actually, I am very lucky because my advisor, my thesis advisor, no, from NTC, um, gave me a permission to use no his presentation about the new normal discipline concerns no among our student, and this part of my presentation is actually taken no from the notes no and presentation of Dr. Gregorio Sismundo, my advisor on my thesis uh, in the MTC and graduate school. So thank you, sir, for giving me the opportunity to use your presentation for today. Okay, so moving on. Now, it is very important for us, no, to know what are the realities, no, what are the present issues and concerns that our learners and students are actually experiencing at present, because we know the fact that it is not easy for them not to actually to conduct no and to accept the online classes, because um, there is what we call difficulty in changing the thinking, okay, tatawag natin yung kanilang framework, no, yung the paradigm of thinking wherein most of our students, so they are product of the old normal, which is the face-to-face classes, but suddenly because of the pandemic right now, they were forced actually to do the online and the blended and the flexible learning. So it's not very easy for the our learners to adjust no and to adapt to this kind of new normal learning modalities no. Okay, and approach. That is why let us take a look no what else are the concerns of our students, of our learners no with regards to their learning no. So number one, sustaining interest in their studies. So it is this is one of the problems that our students are actually experiencing no, because like I said a while ago, their thinking, okay, their thinking are still on the face to face no, the face to face classes. And right now, okay, not most of them are having are actually uh, were able to adapt no to the new system, which is the online learning. So the problem is how do we sustain the interest of our student no in doing the online learning. So that is one of the issues. Second, the ability to adjust in the new modes of instruction and delivery. So yeah, so there are, this is another problem no in relation to number one. So we really need to help our student to adjust no to the new normals, new practices, all right, and the new modes, most especially in the delivery of the instruction and on the manner on how they will study at home. Okay, kasi it's a different experience if you are actually physically in the school with your classmate. Okay, rather than you are in your house alone, no, studying. Oh, kasi not all of them naman the present that their parents are always at home, di ba? Most of them parents are working. Okay? Iba naman sa kanila, they only have the lolo or lola or tito or tita. So meaning to say they have different situations and condition at present. That is why uh, we need to pay attention no, we need to help our student to adjust no. Let that is one of our role no as teacher, as educator, as parent no? We have to help our students, our learners, our children to adjust to the new modes of instructional deliveries. Now the third possible concern, all right, is the seriousness in accomplishing the task provided by the teacher. So this is another issue. This is another problem, no? And because in the school previously, no, back actually in the old practices or the old practice of face-to-face, the teacher is always there. Diba? Personally present, the teacher can actually see the progress or the things that our student are actually doing. So nandyan si teacher to check and to guide the student. But now in the online class, there is only limited contact, no, in interaction. There is only limited time wherein the student and the teacher will interact. Di ba? For some, that is less than 20 minutes or less than 30 minutes. No, it depends on the connections, on the how strong is the internet that the teacher and the students are actually using. So this will be a problem, no, on the part of the student to accomplish the task. Kasi before they are actually being supervised directly by the teacher kasi the teacher is present personally, no? But right now that they are on their own actually, so they have the module, they have the learning management system, they have their books, but they are studying alone. So there is what we call ano na ngayon more on the personalized learning, more on the what we call this individual learning, di ba? So yan that's why we have to increase the self-discipline of our students right now that they are actually doing their education alone by themselves in their home. Okay, now next, let us continue. Number four is the independent learning. So this is another concern, no? Kasi uh, the question is here is the discipline. How disciplined is our learners? How disciplined is our children, no, in terms of their schedule, no, yung kanilang academic schedule or study habits. Kasi yan yung mga concern dito. That's why we really need to take into consideration and this issue, the independent learning, and teach our student to have what we call self-discipline. We have to increase that, no? And we also have to develop, to help our student develop their metacognition. So metacognition is very important. Knowing what they already know, okay, or knowing what you have learned, diba? So they really have to take seriously their education at present. Kasi they need to go beyond. They need to go beyond. That's very important, no? And they should not settle on the average part of learning, but they have to go. They have to increase their expectation in terms of academic learning. That's why they need to go beyond. So they need to really learn how to do the self discipline, the increase of the self discipline, and also they need to increase their meta cognition. So that is important, no? That we educators, parents, no, and the members of the school community, that we need to increase those factors for factors that our student need to acquire and to learn. And then the fifth possible concern is the quality and integrity of the work. So we all know that children, they're working alone by themselves, di ba? So it means that the integrity of the work, no? How would we know if that particular student did not cheat or did not copy the work of other people, no? So this is very this is very actually interesting to know, no? And this is actually a relevant issue at present. So the integrity. So we should develop the trust because we really trust our student. But then in the online class, no, we also take into consideration, no, the quality, no, of the integrity, I mean, of the output that our students will submit to us. Okay, that's why we have to teach them how to properly cite the author. Okay, and they need to learn how to properly cite the resources, no, whenever they will submit their output, their research, or whatever, no, or whatever important academic requirements, they really need to incorporate or to include the resources, no, of or the informations that is the resources of the information or the source of the informations of what they are going to include on their output, no, and the paper. So that is very important in checking actually if the student are that the student is actually honest, no, in honest in doing his or her papers or a project. Now, the number six possible concern is the diligence and punctuality in the submission and accomplishment of uh, their output. So this is another concern. No, this is very important because we need to develop, no, the the habit of punctuality, no, among our student, most especially right now that we are doing the online class, no. uh, uh, it is very important for them to submit the work on time. But we also have to consideration the other factors such as the connectivity, diba? And then what kind of gadgets they are using. All right. So we have to give actually ample of time for our student to submit their work. Okay. So we have to be more patient, and we have to be more merciful actually and considerate to our student this time of pandemic, because our student are actually going to different hardship in life. So as a teacher, as an educator, parents, we have to really consider those factors, no, and let us be a model for our children, our students, no, in terms of being merciful, compassion, and understanding. But then, punctuality still will be a concern, a possible concern for academic and behavior of our student, and we need to really talk, no, and educate our student with regards to the importance of time. Okay, it's very difficult actually to check the output of the student nowadays. That's why if they will continue to submit their work late, it will cause delay on the part of the educators to give feedback and to check the output of the student. All right, so let us move on. Okay, next, number seven is being on time in the synchronous meeting. Okay, so this will be another concern. Well, possible cause of this, why the students are getting late actually in joining the online class, is because perhaps of the poor connectivity. So ayan, pwede yan, di ba? We all know that the internet connections and the service of internet in the Philippines is not that good. That's why poor connectivity will be a possible problem or possible causes for this ano, uh, being late, no? Actually, in attending actually the online classes. All right? So, isa yan eh. Pangalawa is the quality of the gadget, no? The quality of the gadget or the technology that the student is actually using. Isa din yan. So, if the gadget, the cell phone or the computer has what we call low spec, we can expect that it will have a troubleshoot or a technical difficulty. That's why there will be the result is perhaps the student will join late on the synchronous meeting or online meeting. So number eight, proper decorum in the synchronous meeting. So this is another possible problem. So because they are actually working and studying at home, so uh, it will be very difficult for some student to wear to make themselves presentable in front of the camera. Okay, so yan, proper decorum, di ba? In terms of the behavior, so as a teacher, are we going to allow those students who are not turning on their cameras, okay, or do we need to allow the student to unmute their audio? Okay, so and what is the extent, no, of the what we call it, what will be the extent of the behavior that the teacher will allow and will not allow. Okay, kasi in an online class this is different, no, and it is not easy to conduct a class online or via online. That is why we really need to create a what you call this in online agreement, no, So these are what we call the protocols, no, or the decorum. So what are what kind of what are the decorum that the student should manifest or practice in an online class, no? And that decorum, okay, or agreements, if I call it, okay, if I may call it, that decorum agreement should be approved not only by the teacher but also by the parents and the students, and that is very important, no? That particular agreements and decorums will be well communicated to the parents and to the students. Okay. The number nine is the proper utilization or use of social media platforms. So this is very important also, and this will be actually a possible concerns, no, in doing the online class, no. So how do we teach our students, our learners to be responsible, no, of the comments of the materials and content that they are showing and sharing actually in the social media. So that is another issue there. And also what kind of social media platforms they're going to use, di ba? So can we use Facebook and Twitter in an online class? Okay, and we know that the Facebook and Messenger, these are actually used in doing the online class. But what else are the other social media platforms that we can use appropriately for doing an online class? So these are things that we need to consider. Okay, number 10, proper dress code during synchronous meetings. So last time I read, no, from the newspaper that the DepEd, no, will not require a school uniform, no, for the students, okay, but they have to look presentable in front of the camera. Okay, so whether uh, they will whether that they will require the student to wear the uniform or not to wear the uniform. What is important here is we have to teach our student personal grooming, di ba? They need to look very nice in front of the camera. And I think that is what is important here, di ba? If they're not wearing, I mean, the uniform, at least they are actually presentable and neat in front of the camera. Okay. Now for those who are tuning in, okay, good afternoon and welcome to our discussion. This is a live discussion on my opinion matters. So if you have questions, suggestions, and comments, please write it down on our comment sections, and later on, I'm going to read all your comments and your suggestions. So moving on, we are in number 11. So regulation in the use of gadgets and exposure to them. So this is another important issue or concern. So how many gadgets do we need to allow our students to use? So pwede yan. That's another problem there. And also, how long do we need to require our learners to attend an online class? Kasi, di ba, that is actually another issue there, because there are many studies conducted, no, and saying that long exposure of our student in the cell phone and then in the screen of the computer can actually compromise their health, diba? That's why that is one of the concerns of the schools, no, yung exposure, no, yung screen time of the students, no, in an online class. That is something that we need also to pay attention. Okay, next is the possible addiction in the use of the gadget might be observed. So this is another possible concern. So we really need to teach our student, no, the schedule, no, the discipline, okay, on, and the parents also should also set, no, a parameters, a schedule, that our learners and the children will practice, no, in terms of the limitation in using their gadgets, most especially the cell phones, no. Kasi we all know that our students, our learners are actually engaged and engrossed in doing or playing online mobile games. So we really need to set a limit, no, that that the learners and the students should actually practice, every day. Okay, to avoid being addict, to avoid addiction, no, in gadget, no, in using mobile cell phone and other gadgets. Now, last is the depression. Yeah, so depression, internal and external factors. This is actually a possible concerns because in our previous discussion on this program, I have discussed already that actually mental health, no, depression is actually one of the highest, no, of the top notcher mental health illness, okay, or disorder in our country. Yeah, that's why we really need to pay attention, no, on the mental health, no, of our children, not only our children but also the members in the members of our family members, diba? The members of our family. That's very important for us to pay attention, uh, to talk to them, no, and to ask if they're still okay. Because nowadays, we know that life is difficult. That's why we really need to check the mental health, the state and condition of our mental health. Okay. So, after knowing the possible concerns, all right, now the main question is how do we support our learners? Okay. So, actually, these are the possible ways, no, or things that we can apply, that we can actually include in our programs, no, in our continuity programs, in terms of the support, no, that we are going to give to our learners, no, and the members of the school community. And the information actually that we're going to discuss on this particular portion are actually the product of my research that I conducted last year on the whole child approach. Because, like I mentioned a while ago, whole child approach from the ASCD, it has actually 5 tenets, and support is actually one of the tenets of the important tenets of the whole child approach. So these are the possible programs, the possible what you call this suggestions, no, uh, the the product of of my research that we can actually use in order to increase our support for our learners. So number one, no, implementing technology mediated personalized learning. So what do we mean by personalized learning? No, but when we say personalized learning, it means that how are you going to customize the learning for your student? No, when you say customize, okay, you need to what? In doing your activities, no, in doing the lesson plans, no, in doing the instructional the instructions for our students. It may be in a form of the module, okay, or you're going to use the LMS. We need to what? We need to take into some consideration the personalized learning. So we need to customize our activities, no, based on the strength, needs, skills, and interests of our learners. So that is very important, no, because right now, most especially, we're doing an online class, di ba? We really need to what? To sustain the interest of our students. Kanina in the previous slide, no, one of the problems or possible problems that our student may encounter is to how to sustain the interest in their learning. So this is very important, and this is actually an answer on that concern, because when we personalize, no, when we customize the our activities, no, based on the interests, no, of the student, based on their strength and based on the skills of our student, there is 100% chance that they will be engaged. They will get engaged. They will get interested. Diba? They will be interested on our activities kasi it is customized. Meaning to say, that particular activity is suited and fitted for our learners. So that is personalized learning. Diba? So gone are the days that we give only one particular activities for all, diba? Gone are the days of that kind of practice. But this time in an online class, it's very important for us to give several activities that our student can choose. Diba? So that is very important. We need to empower our student and to give them the freedom to choose a particular questions, perhaps, or particular activities that they prepare to accomplish or to do. Okay? This is the only way that we can support in order to sustain the interests of our learners in our subject in doing an online class. Okay? Now, the second is the positive effects of parental involvement on academic achievement for children. So this is very actually important, no? Okay. Now, so support coming from the parents na right now, especially right now that we are doing an online class, is very important. I can imagine how an elementary or primary students will conduct their online classes without the supervision of their parents or guardian. It's very difficult, di ba? Talagang the primary teachers or even the elementary students, I mean, the primary students and the elementary students, they really need the support of their parents, di ba? Okay? At lalo na yung mga nasa nursery level. Talagang they need a full supervision and support of their parents. Diba? And my dear friends, no, when parents when parents are actually involved, okay, in the educational development of their children, it it give it gives positive output or outcome. Okay, it really increases the academic performance of the learners, of the student, if the parents are there to support them, diba? If the parents are concerned with the directly concerned, no, with the academic progress, no, the academic performance of their children, we expect that there will be positive results, and that is according to what? To the study conducted by James W.H. in 2012, no? So in that study, uh, they found out, no, that if the parents are actually supporting, the parents are supporting the student, no, in terms of their for their academic uh, the academic progress and the academic performance, no, uh, talagang maganda ang positibong na idudulot niyan sa pag-aaral ng bata. Okay? And they were in that study, no, actually they were able to identify what are the factors, no, what are the factors or the and descriptors, no, for that positive output, positive impact on the academic performance of the student. Now, the parents are actually uh, engaged, okay, or what we call the parents are supported is actually supporting the students on their academic matters. So on that study, okay, they observe that those parents who are actually uh, shared reading. So meaning, if the parents are actually uh, doing a reading session at home for their children, it matters a lot. So that's very important. Huh? That's very important. Okay. Okay. What happened to my? All right. Okay. Let me just. Yeah. So I'm going to share again my screen. Okay. What happened? All right. So I'm sorry. So I'm having difficulty again because my PowerPoint is not actually showing up. Okay. So I'm sorry, my PowerPoint is not working very well. So in that case, I need to read the remaining information. So stop sharing. Okay. All right. All right. So I stopped already the presentation using my PowerPoint because actually there's a problem with my laptop, so I cannot share actually the informations from my PowerPoint presentation. So I'm going to try to share my screen again. I hope that my PowerPoint will show up. No? Okay, it's not appearing actually. It's not showing up. What is happening here? Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry for that, my friends. Actually, that is one of the loopholes, no? If you are conducting an online live stream, no? In the YouTube. Okay, so let us continue. So, yeah, first it's those parents who are doing actually a reading, no, for their children. Okay, they observe that this children, no, uh, have positive results, no, the positive outcome in terms of academic performance. No? That's why it's very important for a parents, no, for a parent or for a guardian to have time to conduct, no, a reading session uh, for their children. That's very important because this study conducted by James W.H. in 2012, no, and actually I incorporated this on my thesis. No, it's very important that we should develop a reading session at home. Yan, that's very important, no? Lalo na sa mga estudyante. So this will actually help them, no, to increase their vocabulary, and at the same time the uh, the the skills in reading, no? This will also be developed, no, whenever the parents will read stories, no, or information for his or her children. All right. Now the second thing is teachers give questions to the parents. So there is a communication part of this parental involvement. So there should be a collaboration between the teachers and the parents. So the teachers in advance can give questions, no, to the parents of the student, no, and every time that they will conduct a reading session at home, the parents will ask the questions that the teacher gave him or her. Okay, so it's a very a positive relationship and collaborative relationship between the parents and the teacher. That's very important. Okay, now the parents could also ask question to the teacher, di ba? And the parents can also ask what particular the best approach or the best strategy that the parent can apply at home whenever that that particular parent is conducting a reading session or learning session at home. So that is very important. No? And mostly in an online class, because the interaction between the teacher and the student is just limited. So we really need the help of the parent, most especially the parent of the nursery, the primary, and the elementary, the grade 4 to grade from grades 1 to grade 3 students, di ba? Kailangan yan yung direct participation of the involvement of the parents, no, to ensure that there will be follow up, no, in terms of the lessons that the teachers has given to his or her student on an online class. So this is according to the research of James, no, in 2012. So can't you see, sa 2012 wala pang pandemya, pero yung approach na to, yung mga findings sila are all in preparation for an online class, di ba? This is very fascinating actually. Now the third one is the the parents and teachers collaborations, no, uh, should actually build what we call should build and establish, okay, a particular rules, okay, so the relationship of the parents, okay, and the teacher should be based on a particular rules, di ba? There should be limitations, okay. There should be a clear indicators and limitations on how we will interact and how we will relate from each other in the case of the teacher and the parents of the students. Okay, that is why if there is a positive collaboration between the parents and the teachers, so we can see that they can make or they can establish rules, diba, strategies, guidelines, and then expectation for their children, diba? Oh, kasi there will be what we call exchanges of ideas, diba? Most especially here during this time of pandemic that we are going to conduct an online class. Talaga it's very important that the parents should cooperate, should get involved, no, in the education of their children, and they should cooperate and collaborate with the teachers of their children. That's very important. So any rules, any guidelines, no, even the strategies, this should be well communicated to the parents. And the parents can also suggest, no, kasi there's what we call feedbacking naman on the part of the teacher after the assessment. So that the parents, after knowing that that is the performance of his her children, okay, so the parents can actually suggest, no, what particular strategy or approach that is suited or fit for his her child. Okay, so there is what we call there is what we call the positive relationship in a way that there is an exchange of ideas. Okay? And folks, friends, during this time of pandemic, we really need the help of other people because really we cannot solve our problems alone by ourselves. Okay? So let us continue. The third is the use of range of diagnostic formative, okay, formative and summative assessment. Okay? Assessment tasks to monitor student progress. So yeah, this is very important, no? In order to support the academic progress of our student, of our learners, we really need to give different kinds and examples of formative and summative assessment. And the summative assessment should not always be in a form of written, di ba? When we talk about summative assessment, this can be the final task, and this can be done by a project or a task, di ba? Non-written, di ba? Ito yung mga non-written assessment, no? Because the students or the learners can actually do a particular task or activities involving or with the use of their talents, di ba? Yung talents and skills of our students. And also, it is a perfect manifestation that they really learn and master a particular skill or concept, di ba? If they can successfully show it, di ba, in terms of an output, di ba? Not only written output. O yan. Now, in formative, diagnostic is very important. We should check on the prior knowledge of the students, no? So, we teaching is actually not be teaching is not only limited to sharing of ideas, no. Okay. Kasi if you are a type of a teacher that you're going to share and without asking your student what matters about them, oh, there will be a problem. Okay, that's why diagnostic is very important. No, we really need to check first. No, what are the prior knowledge? No, what are the stock knowledge of our students, so that we can also save time and our energy in teaching our students. Okay, because we do not want to repeat what they know and what they have learned already. Okay? Now, the formative, this is very important. This is another way of supporting our learners in terms of their academic. Now, in the formative, we need to give more activities, but be sure that these activities will um, will cater, no, will help our students to master a particular concept and skills. Diba? Let us not give activities that are not related to the topics or the competencies that we are exploring. Diba? That's why formative assessment, formative activities, these are what we call ano, these are what we call the scaffold, no? These are what we call the preparations so that our students and learners will master a particular concepts and skills. Okay? So all our activities should really should give a way for the formation of the skills and concept, diba? Important concepts and ideas for our student. Kaya nga formative, you are forming, diba? You are still forming the student. They have not yet formed. So in the formative, this is a stage wherein we are honing the skills and we are teaching, forming the skills and the critical thinking of our students. Okay? Now, the fourth is to provide timely feedback. Okay? and adjust teaching learning activities to maximize student progress. So this is also important. Now, in giving the feedback, it should be timely. That's why I know it's very difficult for the educator or the teachers to do an online checking right now. But it is very important that the after assessment we have to give feedback for our students, especially on the online classes, the blended learning. Feedback really matters because the feedback will give our learners, our students, the idea on the progress of their learning. Nasaan na ba sila? Okay? Are they doing well or aren't they not doing well? So progress feedback, I mean, is very important, and it should be given timely. Okay, and the feedback should also uh, be communicated well to the parents. Okay, so there should be a communication of feedback to the parents, not only to the student but as well to the parents. So the parents should know the performance, no, the progress of their children to our school, in our school. So, and we can only give that through feedbacking, okay? And how do we establish well? How do we conduct the feedback? So that's very important. So we need what? We need to establish the willingness, okay? First, we need to establish the willingness of the students, of our learners, of and the parents, no, in terms of the feedback that we are going to give them, because we know that there are actually difficult academically challenged children. We know that there are some, if not many. That is why the parents and the students should cooperate, and they should be willing to accept, no, and to try their best to accept and to try to practice, no, try to practice the suggestions that will come from your feedback, di ba? Kasi the feedback will tell you suggestions and recommendations, no, on how you can increase your performance or how you can actually enhance a problem or particular, sabihin na natin yung uh, weaknesses, di ba, of a person. So feedback is very important, and there should be a willingness for that person to accept and to apply the recommendations and the suggestions that the feedback uh, will be included on that feedback. Okay, and of course, what is important here is after the feedbacking, there should be a modification in terms of teaching learning activities. So you have to adjust. So on the part of the educator, okay, if you already knew that that particular students or group of students are actually having difficulty on that particular concept or skills, you have to adjust your teaching. So you have to make the activities and the approach uh, sabihin na natin suited and fitted, no, for the needs of that particular group of learners. Okay? So that we can actually increase and maximize the progress of the students. Okay? So number 5, makes co-curricular and instructional based on child and adolescent development and student performance information. Okay, so this is very important that the instructions and the activities, the co-curricular activities, and then the academic activities, the instructional activities, no, uh, all of this should consider the psychology of a child. Okay, so this is very important. So we have to consider the psychology of a child. And one of this important psychology of the child is the law of the readiness. Okay? So so yung mga activities natin, no, yung academic and co-curricular activities, be sure that uh, students are actually matured enough to be engaged or to take this kind of activity. So that is the readiness. Uh, we should consider that the readiness of the student. That's very important because if they are not ready for that, there will not be positive outcome. So we are always, as an educator, as a parent, we should always look for positive. We should actually expecting positive outcome. But it's okay, di ba? Sometimes our children will really give negative outcome, but it's okay. But we really need to help them to to stand and to recover and to cope, no? And we have to teach them, no, to try other things in order uh, to increase or to enhance, no, their capacity to solve a particular problem. That's very important. Kasi there are activities that sometimes we are giving to our student, but our students are not actually ready for that. It is not yet, it is actually beyond their comprehension. Diba? So readiness is very important for us to consider, no, in the instructions and the curricular and instructional activities that we're going to give for our student. Another thing is the activities, no, uh, should allow our student to develop, no, their innate talents and also their moral development. Ayan. So maganda to. We need to consider, no, that our is the activity that we're going to give to our learners or student will develop their talents and skills. Ayan. Will it be developmentally appropriate for them at their present age? Yan. Or is that activity will prepare them to move up or to go up to to the next level of their maturity. Ayan. So, those are actually things that we need also to consider in the preparation of our co-curricular and instructional activities. All right. Now, number 6 is ensures that adult student relationships support and encourage each student's academic and personal support. So this is very important, no? When we support our students, our learners, okay, the adult student relationship is very important. And the adult student relationship should be based on a positive relationship. That should be a positive. Okay? Now, how do we know if we are developing positive relationship with our students, no? Okay? Of course, if we respect our students, the students will also respect us. Diba? That is actually very obvious, no? If a teacher or an educator is actually exercising respect towards another people, in return, those people will also respect that particular person. Respect is actually earned. Oh, that is an old saying, and it is true nowadays that respect is actually earned. It is not being forced. That is why we really need to set a good model for our students. So respect is number one. Respect is an important formula or ingredient in developing positive relationship among our students. Another thing is the caring and concern. So this is very important, the caring and concern. So most especially this time of pandemic, we need to as an educator, as a parent, no, we need to be more caring. We need to be more loving for our student and children. Because if they feel that they are being loved, if they feel that they are being if they felt that they are being loved, if they felt that they are being cared for, ayan, you were actually creating a positive relationship. Concern is also part of positive relationship. We really need to listen, di ba, to the concerns of our children. When you listen to the concerns of our learners and children and students, you are actually accommodating them, di ba? And listening skill is very important for an educator and parents. Okay? When you know how to listen to your student, children, okay, this will actually give a positive outcome or effect on the academic performance of our student. And that is based on the study conducted by Cathy Jane in 2013. Diba? Now, this positive relationship, okay, this will help our student to develop their psychological and social skills. So if you are being respectful, if you are being caring, if you are accommodating, and you are very concerned with your student, you are actually mirroring positive values to your student, children, and learners. And therefore, in the concept of social learning, di ba? Oh, and therefore the student will learn from you how to respect. They will learn from you how to give concern and how to care to other people because they have seen that on you. Oh. So we help also them. We develop their psychological and social skills through our good examples. And that is based on the research conducted by Institute in 2015. That is why this time of pandemic, no, we have to be more kind and merciful for our students and parents and other people, di ba? Kailangan dagdagan natin ang ating pagkakabaitan at ating pagka maawain, the kindness and mercy, because these are the Filipino values that I have discussed before on my previous video, that will make people, okay, that will make people human being, diba? By practicing kindness, by practicing merciful or mercy, we are actually making ourselves human being, tunay na tao. Okay? And therefore, we are allowing ourselves to open ourselves to other people, and we are allowing ourselves to help other people. Okay? Now, number 7. Okay? Student has access to school counselor and other structured academic, social, and emotional support. So this is very important. No? So this time of online class, okay, and this time of pandemic, the guidance, uh, the guidance support, the guidance program, okay, those are very important, and it will help actually the student a lot in terms on how to cope up with the struggles and the difficulties that they are actually experiencing. So the programs of the guidance, no, of the student affairs are very important. Okay? Sometimes I'm just wondering, no, if it will be okay for this time to give sanctions for our student. But then I realized that we have to be more merciful, no, and kind for our students and more patient, no, for our students, especially this time of online classes, of this time of blended flexible learning. Kasi it's not very easy, no, to adjust. It's not very easy for all of us to actually accept the condition, the situations that we are experiencing at present. No, that's why the guidance support, the guidance programs, the different activities of the student affairs that will really help and will support our student in terms of their psychological and then emotional aspect as well as psychosocial. Okay. Now, number 8, school helps families understand available services, advocate for their children's needs, and support for their children's learning. So in here, the school, no, uh, should really communicate. First, you have the school should devise, should create, produce programs, no, for intended not only for our student, for the but for also for the members of the school communities and the stakeholders. So programs are very important, and it should be well communicated, properly communicated to the stakeholders, to the members of the school communities, and also to our students. Now, these programs, no, should help the family, not only the student, but these programs should also, these programs will also benefit, no, the families, the parents of the students, and also this will really uh, answer the needs, no, of our learners and also the members of our family. That is why the programs, when you make a program, you have to consult the children. That's very important. So in conceptualizing or creating a program this time of pandemic in an online class setting, you have to really consult the parents, the PCB of the I mean the parents, the what you call it, the parents of the officers of the parents, diba? Parents officers, and also the student officers, the leaders of the students, the leaders of the parents of the in your school. You have to consult them. Okay, if you are planning to make a program, you have to involve them so that the programs that you will be able to create will address and serve the interest, not only the interest, but also it will directly serve uh, the needs of our learners and the members of the school community. Okay. Now next, number 9. So this is the last one. Uses of variety of methods across languages and cultures to communicate with all families and community members about the school vision, mission, goals, activities, and opportunities for students. So this is very important. Okay, so we have to stick and we have to be guided and inspired by our school's mission and vision. Okay, so in all the activities that we are going to make for our student, we have to be guided. We have to incorporate our mission, vision, and goal. And that is very important. Okay? And we have to make sure that everyone will benefit from the activities that you're going to uh, make, and make sure that the activities will be properly communicated to our parents and the members of the school community, and also the community in at large should be involved uh, in our activities. The school should be as the school, I mean, should act as a mediator or a channel for our student, our learners to be connected to the broader community. That's very important. Dapat yung activity natin ah, ay magbibigay ng opportunity para sa ating mga magulang, para sa ating mga learners, estudyante na ma-expose, maging involved sa community, sa malawak na pamayanan, in a broader community. So that's why yung here is we have to really forge or establish positive relationship with the people in our community. Let's start with the barangay, di ba? Yung mga barangay officials, we have to invite them and we have to include them in our activities in school for some activities, important activities in our schools. Di ba? The leaders of our barangay, yung ating mga homeowners leaders, di ba? The well distinguished people in our community, we have to identify them and we need to involve them in some of the important activities in our school. So ang school should be a channel for our learners and parents to get involved in the community activities. Okay? So that's very important. We are connecting, we are exposing our children, our parents to the activities of the community. And therefore, it will increase their citizenship. Di ba? And yung kanilang civic efficacy. And that is very important. Okay? That's very important. All right. So thank you, my dear friends. No, I'm sorry for the delay because I had actually experienced a technical difficulty a while ago. No, while I'm attempting to connect using my laptop and my gadget, but thank you, Lord, for because I was able to continue the discussion and uh, I was able to become faithful with my promise to you, my friends and folks, that every Saturday that I will make and deliver my online discussion, the live streaming on my opinion matters. For those who are tuned in, thank you very much. No, please leave your comment. No, below. If you have suggestions, if you have topics that would like to discuss in the future, kindly type in on the chat box, and later on I will try to review and I'll try to my best to actually discuss that on the succeeding in my future live streaming that I will be conducting. And thank you very much for your continued support to all my YouTube for those who already subscribe on my YouTube channel. It's John Padillon. Thank you very much. I hope you will continue to watch the on my this my opinion matters every Saturday 4 to 5 p.m. And please, I am asking you, I am begging you to please share this video and subscribe. No, if ever that you will have a chance to watch this video, please share it and subscribe. Don't forget. And we thank God for everything. And friends, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. Until next time, we will see each other until next time here at On My Opinion Matters. Thank you very much, my friends, and good night.